All right, quick note before we jump into this episode. You may have noticed, just kind of glancing at the title, that we're not covering 8 episodes. We're covering 4 episodes. We'll get to that in just in the episode, but just wanted to point that out.
Clear the air. What do I say? I don't...
Like, welcome back.
Welcome back. I am back again.
This was a mistake having you try to leave this.
I'm not as good as with off the cuff stuff.
You gotta just be like, welcome back to Tokusatsu Girlfriend.
To Tokusatsu Girlfriend.
There you go. We're gonna try that again next episode. You're gonna get this. You're gonna be the one leading this.
No.
By the end of all of this, yes.
I'm not ready.
You got this. Welcome back, everybody, where we are sitting down here at Tokusatsu Girlfriend. I'm Squall.
I'm Lore.
And we are currently watching Mashin Sentai Kiramager. The first episode we covered episodes 0 through episode 7, so an 8-episode arc, which felt like a good chunk.
It did. It really did.
And as we were watching these episodes, we set out to do another episode or 8-episode chunk. And I don't know, it just feels more like we don't give enough time to the episodes. We don't really talk a whole lot. We're kind of rushing through because I never want it to be over an hour. And I know, like, I don't know, I kind of get like a little frustrated by the end when I'm like looking at the clock and I'm like, oh, it's getting closer to an hour. No.
I know. And I don't think either one of us likes feeling rushed. And we want to be able to talk about these episodes at length without having to gloss over anything or not give every episode the time it really deserves just because we're getting close to the end. So.
And if we're moving to like an episode every other week, we don't want it to feel like other people watching with us have to rush to enjoy these. So I figured we watch 4 episodes every episode, unless there's like a special or something, or for the most part, 4 episodes sounds pretty good.
It does.
It's like 2 episodes a week.
Manageable.
Yeah, super easy, especially if you're an adult like us. Don't have a whole lot of time to sit down and watch Tokusatsu.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, welcome back to Tokusatsu Body Pillow.
Oh, what?
No,
that's not where I thought you were going.
That's the spinoff of people who are upset at this podcast.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, moving in. So we are covering episodes 8 through episodes 11 of Mashin Sentai Kiramager. And we stopped on a cliffhanger. It was a 2-parter with episode 7 leading into 8. So Lauren, take it away. What happened in episode 8?
Okay. Anytime I get put on the spot, my mind immediately goes blank. If I remember correctly, like you said, it was a cliffhanger where they're in the middle of battle and Juru passes out behind the wheel. Not a good thing to do. And we see this glowing gatai. Is that the word?
Yeah.
We see the glowing gatai and we're like, who is this? Who is this? And so then when we kick back to it in episode 8, don't they just kind of withdraw? Garza and those guys, aren't they just we're out of, because Juru passes out again.
Yeah, it scares them off.
Yeah. And they're like, oh, we're not messing with this. We're out of here for now. I think that's what happened, right? I
think it's power diminishes or something. There's something big that happens. Man, we watched this one days ago. We can't remember.
I'm so sorry.
Our memory is so bad. We really literally need to sit down and watch all 4 at once.
Yeah.
Otherwise, this is just going to turn into trash. But
goldfish memory.
Yeah, he's super, worn out and kind of at his limit because of the training that each member sort of put him through. And that hospitalizes him. He is literally in the hospital where they slapped a little carrot sticker above his bed.
Yes. Oh my God. I love that Carrot has their own hospital for some reason. Okay. But that's where he is. And I mean, I'm not too worried because he's got Sayo there as his doctor. She's clearly the best. So I'm not too terribly worried, but otherwise, if she were not there, I'd be a little bit worried I'd be getting, not the best healthcare possible since it's not a legit hospital, but
he has a dream where he goes and he visits the king of Crystalia,
that's right,
Mabushina's father. And he's very confused as to how a human is here in his kingdom. And they sit down and they draw, they paint and draw together because the king's always painting and Juru's always drawing. And so they sit down together to draw, and he wakes up and he drew this in his sleep.
Right.
And it's this crystal thing that he is drawn to. And so without even like changing his clothes or even like grabbing his changer, he heads out to go and like track down this crystal thing, which is in another like disclosed carrot
warehouse
installation. Yeah, somewhere.
Yeah.
Like there's like guards and everything.
And he's like, I'm a Kiramager. And they're like,
sure.
Yeah, okay, kid.
Yeah.
But he is.
Yeah. And then Garza shows up.
Yes, of course. The purple ring pop. And
yeah, basically Juru's led him to the crystal that Mabushina came in or something. Like it's a big white crystal. And he tells the guards to get away. He attacks Garza, tries to like defend them, and then that's when Mabushina shows up and like throws him his changer down the
Kiramager change.
Yeah, down the train tracks, which was really cool. It was
very cool.
And then they fight, and the big reveal of the episode is that this crystal, he now, with the power that little one, he's able to turn it into a train, which is kind of like the opposite, like the yin to the yang of Garza's train.
Yeah, like Garza has that scary looking train, but this one is all like light and love.
Yeah. And another fun thing in this episode is like Garza, he has his own little transformation, and Juru's able to combine both of them without his consent.
Yeah. That was in this episode where he's like, what? Yeah. No, stop.
And he even like points his crocodile fist like at himself, and he's like, oh, great idea. And he like untransforms to like attack the monster with it. A lot of really fun stuff. Yeah. And like I said last episode, this Gatai is my favorite in a very long time.
The white one?
Yeah, with like the sunglasses. It just looks like it's like 80s.
It kind of looks like a Gundam. Like, I mean, I know the Gatai all kind of look like a Gundam, like obviously, but this one, just the color scheme, I think.
I love it.
Just really, it's giving me Gundam. I really like it. It's very clean looking.
Yeah, but that's basically it. Like, Garza runs off saying like, we'll get a rematch soon. And it's just really funny, the idea that he takes over his train to like transform,
to attack and like quit hitting yourself.
Yeah,
that whole idea.
It was a good episode, good ending, and everybody kind of understands and realizes that the end of the episode, Juru's having everybody train under him, so he's like trying to get everybody to draw, and like Senna's got like hieroglyphics, like everything's in like 2D. You bust out laughing when we saw Shigeru's.
Oh my god, he kills me. And that drawing, that is a piece of art. I honestly want to have that framed and put that up in my office at work.
I'll scan that in from the episode and I'll put it like on a shirt or something.
Oh my god, I want it as like artwork in my office.
Okay.
That's what I really want. And then when people come in and they're like, oh, what's that? Let me tell you guys about Kiramager.
But yeah, that was episode 8. That was a good one. Good 2-parter. Not too heavy, not too, I mean, we've only really watched Shinkenger so far at the time of this recording. And Shinkenger had a really great early on 2-episoder.
Yes.
Where it ends with Takaru leaving the house. Do you remember that one?
I do, yeah.
And he kind of, is just wandering. And when you've seen the show and you watch that episode again and you realize like he has all of these like complications and all these hangups because he's not the actual Lord, and like that he doesn't, deserve to have all these people fighting and like potentially dying for him. Right. And it's such a powerful episode, and they show up and like kind of just like, no, we need you, like we can't do this without you. And he's like, yeah, I guess. And together they come back. That's like your perfect early on 2-part episode,
right? And
this one's great, but it's not like anywhere near that sort of level. So
I think we're going to keep going up. I've so far, I mean, I know we're going to talk about the other 3 that we watched, but I am just overall really, really pleased with what I've seen so far.
Quality's great.
Yeah, the quality's great. The comedic timing is really funny. I know that this is a kid's show, so, it's got to be on a certain level, but I don't know. I really think that some of the humor and the things that we're seeing, the timing, it appeals to all audiences. And I'm really liking it. I'm really digging it.
Well, let's move on to episode 9. This is my youthful path of Karuta.
I think this is my favorite episode so far.
This one?
This one.
So I have watched a handful because I was doing reviews, on the YouTube channel and everything. I thought this one was the most fun, but also the weakest. Does that make sense?
What do you mean by weak? Maybe explain that to me.
So like Sentai always does, you know, like the character focus episodes, which I don't necessarily have a problem with. If it doesn't improve the character or doesn't tell us more about the character, I feel like it's a waste of an episode. And this one, yes, it's Senna when she's younger and she had a friend, but it doesn't really tell us anything new about her. It doesn't really help us understand her more, and it doesn't change her either.
Okay,
Does that make sense?
I get you.
So explain the episode. I mean,
so we start out the episode with Senna. It looks like she might be training or just kind of like friendly competition jogging between
Juru and Tamatomo.
Exactly. Yeah. And they're all like, wow, you're the best. You're so fast. And then Kill Bill style, this chick shows up and she's like, Sayo! I was waiting for her to say, you and I have unfinished business, because it was seriously giving me Kill Bill. And she looks up and there's
You mean Senna?
Yes.
You said Sayo?
Oops, my bad. I'm so sorry. The S
Senna Hayami!
Thank you.
Yeah.
The S names are really just messing with me. Yes.
Yeah, you're gonna be doing this
rewind that. And then there's this chick just standing up there and she's like, Senna!
Nailed it.
Did I get it right?
Nailed it.
And it turns out that this chick is like some enemy of days gone by.
Well, I wouldn't say that. She's a childhood friend that turned into a rival.
Exactly.
I wouldn't say an enemy.
Well, enemy, rival. It's the same thing.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Let us know. Enemy or rival. Are they the same thing?
Oh, speaking of that from last episode, did you see the results of Pop versus Soda?
I chose not to look.
Oh, you didn't choose to look?
No, I didn't.
Well, let me just pull it up here real quick. Tokusatsu. It would help if I could spell R. There it is.
It's complicated.
Yeah, if you guys aren't following us on Twitter, Tokusatsu GF. We have updates on everything we do. We're going to be giving away those keychains here.
Yes.
Sometime within this week when this episode goes out. So be sure to be following on there because you'll
match me. I already have mine on my keychain.
Yeah. Do you like it? Is it good so far?
I love it. I love it. And I want to show it to everyone.
Okay. Coming in at 22.2%, people have voted Pop.
Yeah.
77.8 Soda. Yeah.
Boo. Well,
so we'll put a new one up. Childhood friend or enemy.
There's definitely some competition. This girl is reading Senna. She's just like, oh, well, you run now. That makes sense since
running away from all your other problems.
And you need a sport where the only requirement is that you have to be fast. And I'm like, whoa, who is this chick? She is rude just right off the bat. Then Senna explains that she was a childhood friend turned rival.
Not enemy. Not enemy.
Well.
Not enemy.
Again, we'll let the polls decide.
It's not an enemy.
They're no longer friends. I think we can agree to that. They're not really on friendly terms.
No, because the one girl's kind of a bitch.
Yeah, she is.
Anyway, the monster of the week shows up and it's a Japanese game if you're not familiar. It's called Karada. And basically what happens is you'll have a narrator who reads a poem, who reads a verse. And you have all these other cards that finish that verse in front of you, and you have to be the first person to snatch that card. We have a game kind of like that over here where it's just like, what is it?
I don't know.
Oh, it's like Slapjack, kind of.
Oh,
it's like the same fundamentals of Slapjack, where you have to be the fastest and quickest one to grab a card. Except
I haven't played that in so long.
Oh, we should play it.
I forgot it existed.
We should play it with Debbie tomorrow. Your mom?
God.
I bet she'd get really mean with Slapjack.
She's competitive.
I know, me too.
I know.
But anyway, he's got karata on people like innocent civilians' heads. And so he starts reading one, and Senna immediately, because she played all this, growing up, sees the right one and smacks it off that bitch's head, and it goes flying into the air and explodes.
Which at that point, because he had just challenged them, he's like, they're about to just charge in and fight his ass. And he says, no, let's play a game. And they're like, oh, okay. The moment that card explodes and they all realized, oh, that could have been on that person's head. All of these people, their heads could blow up. That would have been it for me as a Kiramager. I would have said, okay, enough messing around. We're just going to, take care of this. But they do their thing. They keep playing. Senna is knocking cards off people's heads left and right.
Mm-hmm.
Until the guy is just like, we'll continue this later, I think. Like, he's just like, all right, good job, but this isn't over yet.
And just disappears. And then that's when the other four go to the what is it called, the AFW or whatever of Kurita, like where all these people are just playing this card game, and they go to the rival of Senna to learn how to play this game, because for whatever reason they have to play ball with this monster instead of just defeating him and destroying him.
Yeah, that's my hang up with that, is that I'm like, why didn't they just say, no, we're not playing your game anymore? I'm sure they had their reasons that I don't understand. I'm not a Kiramager, but...
While Juru goes to find Senna, who's kind of depressed about the whole thing, because you said during the monster fight, like, there's one that even Senna gets wrong, and then the other girl shows up and like smacks it away and kind of like even shows her up as a Kiramager.
Yeah.
That kind of like, you know, hampers her mood.
It darkens her spirit.
But Juru brings her crystal, and like they kind of talk her into like, you know, showing up and kind of, you know, keep doing this. And
in the meantime,
at the AFW for Kurita cards, the monster shows up and Garuza's there to read off the verses, but
they're the Yodon.
Yes, they're cheating.
Yodon verses.
And everybody they beat, which they only have to beat him at one hand, gets turned into a card on the monster's head. And so he gets, you know, Tommy, he gets Sayo, he gets Shiguru.
And they're so funny. Those cards are hilarious. Yeah. The faces on there, oh my God, they're so funny.
And they even get her old friend, you know, like, because they trick her because it's, you know, they're cheating. And that's when Sayo shows up, and Senna is just like, even I'm doing it. God damn.
We'll get it.
Senna shows up, and she, you know, during the commercial break goes and gets changed and like is going to fight him. And they're all just like, how is she going to win? She doesn't know what the hell any of these verses are. And the thing was, when Senna and this other girl were training, the only way that she could beat Senna was by duping her out, because every time she would go for the right card, Senna was always the first one there. She was faster. And that's how she defeats this monster. The monster goes for the verse. She's just slapping cards left and right.
And this looks like a fun game. I understand the basic of like, you have to be the first to slap the right card away, but they are just like, bam, 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 slapping just piles of cards. And it looks so cool. It looks like a lot of fun. I could get into that.
My biggest problem with this episode is she beats the monster at one hand, and then they're like, let's do like 10 more. And it's like, no, I beat you.
But I did get stressed at the very end when the monster is like, his mask drops and he's just like, we're cheating. How are you able to beat me? Because we are cheating. And she's like, oh my gosh, you haven't noticed? I'm cheating too.
She's not cheating. She's playing the game.
I know. But she's just like, I'm watching to see where you go. And then I'm doing it. And he's like, you're watching me. She's like, yep, smiley face.
But yeah, they defeat the monster. They free everybody. And the little post-credit scene was really funny because it has Tomo's like picture up, and she like slaps it, and he like grabs his head like, oh.
It's so funny. And just, I love the humor in this. It's so cute. But that was, I don't know, I really liked it. I loved their roll call specifically in this episode. Where it was kind of, I mean, I know it wasn't a throwback to Shinkenger, but they did have the Shinkenger graphics in their roll call. I recognize those.
I think those are just like old, like Japanese, like art graphics.
Yeah, but I
kind of sell the Edo period feeling and vibe. But yeah, that was the episode. And then her and her rival, you know, kind of make up, and she's like, that's really the only reason I could beat you. Like before she like got turned into a card, she tells her like, that's the only way I could beat you. You would be queen if you would have stuck around. And
Supersonic Princess.
All's well that ends well. So let's move on to episode 10.
If that previous episode was my favorite, this is a very close second.
This is the best one of the bunch. I thought when 11 started that 11 was going to be my favorite, and I was like, oh hell yeah, I was so ready for 11. But 10 was so good.
So in this one, I don't know. Maybe this one is actually my favorite.
It's Shigeru. Come on, it's got to be your favorite.
Yeah, it is. It is. Okay, I take it back. Rewind again. This one is my favorite episode.
Hell yeah.
So it starts out and they are all like hovering over their laptop saying, yo, there's apparently this urban legend of an idol. She's allegedly already dead, but if like at 2 a.m, you basically Google something nice about her.
Bloody Mary.
Yeah, it's like it's like an online idol version of Bloody Mary for the modern child. If you Google something nice about her, then you might get her stream to pop up. And she sings, and she's like a really great singer, but oh my God, here's the gag. She's dead. And so that's just really cool. I thought that premise, that alone, they could have sold me on it. I'm like, I'm here for this. This is cool. Let's do a whole series about this because that's awesome. Well, they're all checking it out, and Shigeru comes in, and he recognizes the girl, and he's like, he's acting weird this whole episode.
You forgot to mention the very beginning of this episode.
I know. I just realized
where Mabushina's got like the
radish?
the radish on her head, and Sayo's standing right next to her, and he like in suit transformed, like has his sword, and he cuts through the radish, and his sword like extends long enough to hit it and then disappears before it hits Sayo, and they're just like, whoa, how'd you do that? And he's like, it's all about, like channeling my Kira mentality. It's all about
imagination,
which kind of shows us that he's getting on Juru's level of understanding and like being able to control it. And it's like, whoa, cool.
It's true. It's really true. Yes, I did forget to mention that because I was really excited about the dead urban legend idol thing. But that is what it opens up with.
This episode really came out 5 days before my birthday.
Oh, well, hey.
I'm just looking at the Wikipedia.
So that is extremely important to note that happens, and that then Mr. H is like, yo, your food's here. And so he hustles down there, and he's like, oh, this awful looking hot dog is all mine. I'm so excited. But he unwraps it.
Your dad would love that part.
He would.
He loves hot dogs. Not
this next part.
No, because there's a huge bite missing.
And it's in the middle cut. And that's also important for later. We'll get back to that. Otherwise, I really wouldn't have mentioned it, although it was funny. But we'll get to it. Then they see the whole dead idol thing. Then he's obviously remembering who this chick is, but he's playing it off like, no, I don't know. I gotta go. Come to find out, apparently the dead idol chick is not really dead. So I don't know where they just kind of like dropped that whole thing.
I think it's because like a lot of gimmick stuff works. And so that's like her gimmick to kind of like become popular. I have a really big problem with like the overall fundamental like lesson of this episode, because I feel like it had a really good setup and then it completely missed it by the end. But yeah, she's just this girl who is a singer who is low-key a stalker of Shigeru.
I would hardly even say low-key.
She had a body pillow of him. Yeah, she's definitely a stalker.
A stalker.
And she like shows up like at his, like his productions during the shoots, and is just like, will you marry me? Will you go out with me? Will you let me get rid of this body pillow so I can have the real thing? She even shows up. I'm assuming it was outside of his apartment. Yeah.
Last time it looked like he was just walking the streets like outside of his apartment, and she's like, hi, me again. You ready to marry me?
But we find out that one of these monsters is like invisible, and she's just been on her back this whole time, which is really
you thought
funny.
That joke was so funny when they reveal that the monster's just on her back, and she's like,
it's Shinkenger again.
She's like, oh, you've been there this whole time?
Yeah. Well, okay. So this actress, she's really funny. She was in the band AKB48, and she's done a few like acting jobs here and there, and like when they get actual people who are actors in this show and they give them comedy, it's always really well executed. And I thought that this girl did a really good job in this like character, in this role. And it was just funny to watch her, because just like watching her with like this like creepy like monster man on her back, and she's just running around like, yay, do this, woo, that was fun.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, hold on, stop. Will you marry me? No. Okay, well, keep doing your thing.
Yeah. But meanwhile, I mean, I guess it technically took place a little bit before, but
Nana Owada, that's her name, by the way.
Right. Okay. Well, isn't it Tame, Juru, Senna, and Mabushina? They actually get access.
Yeah, they're watching
the 2 a.m. stream. They're successful. I think they Googled like "She Rules" or something, whatever the idol's name is.
They found it. They watched her music video, and then they get like an invitation.
It's very dark. Like the lyrics are very like Hot Topic, early 2000s. And then they get basically, I don't know, it seemed like they were brainwashed. And then she's like, come to my concert, pigs. Here's some tickets. And she launches tickets out of the laptop screen, but it bounces off Mabushina because, you know, crystal body.
It goes into everybody else's and like impregnates their heart.
Yeah.
Sayo
like
says eventually.
Yeah. Sayo, Dr. Sayo, she can see it. And so she's like, well, Mabushina, it bounced off you, girl, because good thing you've got that Crystalia body. But everyone else.
She's built different.
She literally is. Everyone else, though, like Squall explained, it absorbed into their bodies and like lashed onto their heart.
And this is something that's happening all over the city, too. A bunch of people are like hospitalized and are woken up eventually to come to the concert.
So Shigeru is trying to, you know, help this chick.
Yeah, because she made a contract with this monster like almost immediately, like willingly, because she was like, oh, this will get Shigeru to like me.
And we'll be a power couple. Like she literally was like, oh, I want to be successful enough to be with him. I'll be an idol.
And he even was like, I turned her down. Like, I don't know why she's still on this. And he regales the moment of him turning her down.
To the crystals.
Yeah, to the crystals. And Sayo's there as well. And Mr. H and Mabushina.
Yeah.
And basically it just equates to like, I don't have time right now. But
I could never hate you.
Yeah.
I just don't have time right now to date you.
And they're all like, you idiot. Of course you just gave her like more hope than ever. Of course she's still on this, you know, renegade or this mission.
Yeah, exactly. And so he's like, oh, I guess that was kind of stupid of me, huh? Sounds dumb, don't it?
Nice callback.
Thank you.
That would be funny if they kept calling that back.
I wish.
Every Shigeru episode, they just keep rubbing it in his face. Kind of like how they bring Gemini back all the time.
This seems like the sort of show where, like, I don't know, we might be like 25 episodes in and
they'll drop that.
Something back. Yeah.
I hope so.
But anyway.
She has her big concert. It's at the amphitheater that they use a bunch, like Kamen Rider Double had it, Shinkenger, pretty much every Forze, you know.
Yeah.
Everybody uses this amphitheater.
Like, this looks familiar. I love that. Like, as now we're watching more Tokusatsu, I'm able to start recognizing those locations. So that's pretty cool. And
nobody's there. The audience isn't there. Like, she has like shows like all her undead like listeners coming to join her, but she gets there and no one's there except for Sayo, who destroyed this little banner thing, and apparently it freed everybody, and so everyone's good. And so then Shigeru shows up and he is going to cut her and the monster at the same time.
Which he says, she's like, oh my God, are you for real gonna cut me? And the monster's like, what? He's gonna cut you to get to me? What? And he's like, I am.
Yeah, and he does, but he does the thing in the beginning where he just cuts the monster and it goes through her and everything's good.
Dude literally took inspiration from a hot dog.
Yeah.
And
that's your father.
I know.
He would be proud.
He would be proud. The hot dog comrade.
Hot dog comrade right there.
Yeah, he says that his hot dog being like bitten down through the middle and in half inspired him so that using his Kira mentality, he could swing his sword and it would be, I don't know, I guess dissolved, not in the middle to miss her, but get the monster that's
clinging onto her.
Yeah. And it works. But Sayo catches her when she falls, which...
At the end of the episode, once they clear everything up, he goes to talk to her. She kicks him in the stomach, which I thought was really funny.
It's so funny because she's running to him.
To just fucking
And it looks like, you know, one of those iconic moments where the couple's running to each other. He's not running to her, but she's smiling, waving, and calling his name. And then she gets him and just kicks him in the chest.
And then goes and says, I'm in love with Sayo now. Will you go out with me?
And Sayo, like, turns her down in this, like, badass way. And then even the callback before the
after credits scene,
credits, she's like, next patient. She's like, it's me. I'm back. And she's like, don't you ever learn? And like, doesn't she shoot her or something like that?
Oh, no. Helico comes in and pushes her out of frame.
Oh, yes. That's what she does. God, I love that episode. It was so funny. It was so good.
My problem with the writing of it, it kind of ruins the lesson. Like, yeah, a lot of the lessons need to like be implied on the heroes, but I feel like you have a lot of like outside people that also can learn a lesson, or the the heroes can learn a lesson through them. And I think that's where a lot of the strength of Sentai and Rider episodes usually lie. And I feel like with him being so involved with his acting career and even telling her, like, I'm so focused on this because that's what he loves. Like, literally everybody on the team has something that they love. And her love is him, which isn't fully right because she needs to find something that inspires her, that makes her sparkle. And what if that was singing? So instead of like destroying this banner and like getting everybody to go free and they're just like, oh, I guess I'm going back to work now or home or whatever. What if they would have changed the location? So after like, he cuts through the monster at the, abandoned amphitheater and like she passes out or something. She wakes up and the concert's there because everybody still really liked her music. And so she kind of goes out there and sings for them without this gimmick, without this contract, and finds her own sparkle, and then kind of realizes why Shigeru has, kind of like shut her down this whole time is because he's really focused on his passion and she now has hers. And I just really wish something like that would have worked out in the end. Like, it's kind of like showcasing that you need to find yourself before you can be with someone else.
Well, and to add to that, yeah, now that I think back about it, that was kind of like, it almost seemed like foreshadowing at the time where they were like, well, yeah, she's a dead idol, but she's a really good singer.
Yeah.
Like that, they kind of hearkened on that a lot where they were like, well, yeah, but she's really good. Like she's a really good singer. So yeah, that would have been actually really nice.
To kind of give her a new life almost.
Right. Because obviously she's good at it. The marksman didn't give her that singing ability.
Yeah, that was her natural ability. And that's her natural Kiramaking.
Yeah. So yeah, I do have to give it to you on that one. I do agree. I wish that they would have gone that route.
Yeah, they just always do really nice, sweet things. So I kind of feel like, and I always hate to be like, I would have changed it like this, because I feel like, that's kind of dumb. Like, but I really do feel like this one instance, like they really kind of let her character down, and it's just kind of like, oh, now I'm in love with this person. And it's like, there was no real lesson in this episode, which I think is a really huge detriment to a Sentai episode.
Right.
And this is the first one, like this is the first time I had seen this episode, because like I've only watched 0 through 9, so I watched the first 10, and now we're getting into new territory where I haven't seen these episodes. So, but yeah, she was a really good actress in this. I thought all of her comedy bits hit really well. Her and the monster is really funny, and I thought the next episode, episode 11, was going to be the best episode of the bunch. I was a little let down by that one too, but it did have it had its peaks and its valleys. Do you want to talk about 11?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
So 11 is a Tame focused episode.
Time is looping.
Time is looping. And as the title would suggest, this is kind of like a Groundhog's Day. Okay, I'm like, Groundhogs. That doesn't sound right.
Yeah, it's a Groundhog Day episode.
Yeah, which if you're not familiar, it just means the day keeps repeating. And that is one of Squall's favorite tropes.
It is, when it's done correctly. I hate Groundhog's Day because they took a beautiful book by Ken Grimwood called Replay, which is about a man who's repeating his entire life over and over and over again, and he needs to like figure out and change something. And it's a really deep philosophical, I don't know what I'm trying to say, philosophical book. Shut up. And like it's so beautiful, and like by the end of it, like you feel like you've gone through a change too. And to have them want to make that into a movie, and then they're like, let's just make it a comedy with Bill Murray, where all he needs to do is just have sex with this girl that he works with. That's literally Groundhog's Day. It's really dumb, and it's really shallow by the end of it, if you think about it. Yeah, Bill Murray like gets to know everybody in the town, and like he's like a beautiful man by the end of it. But it really just equates to, I have to have sex with this woman, and then the day continues on. It's dumb. There's another really good movie that came out called Live, Die, Repeat, or The Edge of Tomorrow. It has multiple titles, which is a very good movie unless you've read the book or manga it's based on called All You Need Is Kill, which this reminded me a lot of, where they're at a war with these like monsters, and the reason why their monsters are so good and powerful is because if they lose, they just reset the day. They just, and the main character in the book gets he basically like kills one of these creatures that allows him to return back with everybody. But in the book, everybody is going backwards, so everybody is constantly, you know, getting stronger and going with it. So him and the monsters. In the movie, it's really dumb because it's just Tom Cruise going back in time, and he just is able to like redo things enough times that he's able to like overcome it, which shows no actual personal growth. It's just you do it enough times that you can figure it out, which is why I like this one, because this one, the monster is constantly going back to be stronger and stronger. And then Tommy uses the same thing too, but yeah, continue. Sorry.
No, you're fine. That was.
I'm very passionate.
I know
about
like
my time travel.
This is your
looping.
favorite, like one of your favorite tropes.
Oh my God, Palm Springs was really good too.
That's the one I was trying.
Kind of goes off the rail by the end, but that's a really fun one. There's like the 1201. There's a lot of really good ones out there that I feel like.
Diamond is Unbreakable. All my JoJo fans.
I don't know what that is. But yeah. Tommy is he's doing a Tekken tournament against this guy who looks strangely like L from Death Note.
Yes, and that's what we both said at the same time. We were like, okay, L, I have never seen someone hold a controller like that. Maybe I should try it. But of course, our boy Tommy beats him, and then the announcer, and this is important, says, oh my God, Tommy, of course, is unbeatable. And guess what, you guys? He wasn't even really trying that hard. He's not even using his main. Like, he can do anything. He is incredible. He was using a character he sucks at, and he kicked this guy's ass. Of course, that's not verbatim, but that's important for later. So the guy gets up and he like pulls some hair out of Tommy's head and puts it in a jar and is like, I'm out, peace. And Tommy's like, okay, whatever. And then goes back to Carrot headquarters, where we find out it's one of the Jewel's birthdays. Cinna has lost her wallet. A whole plethora of things are happening. And then they go and they're summoned to area like what, 74 or something like that to fight.
F79.
Yeah, to fight this monster. And then in the battle, everything gets reset. And he's back to where this guy.
The monster gets thrown into Tommy Tomo, and then he grabs its head and everything gets reset. Right.
But of course, we don't know how things are getting reset just yet. And they're making you try and think.
It's this guy,
this
that's
weirdo, creepy guy that he performs some sort of like ritual on him. And now he's cursed to repeat.
Yeah.
Because that's the moment it takes him back to every time. So he immediately like slaps his hand away and is like, it's not going to happen again. Get out of here.
After a couple of replays, yeah. But it still keeps going on, and you find out it's the monster of the week who's got this button on his side of his head that when Tommy got thrown into him, he hit the button. And so now both of them are caught in this looping quantum effect.
But, and this is important, in one of those loops, he actually has a chance to talk to the guy that he beat. And he was like, this was my last game. I'm retiring. Yeah, I'm retiring. I'm going to go fuck off and run my parents' noodle shop. So thanks for ruining this for me. And so Tommy's like, oh, that was your last game ever? And he's like, yeah, and you weren't even trying. Can you honestly say that you took this match seriously? And then that is kind of what, like, I think was Tommy's learning or character development moment where he was like, you know, that does kind of suck. This was this guy's last match. He was really putting his heart into it, and I couldn't even like give him that back. I couldn't take this seriously enough. Like, I was playing a character I'm not even really good at. It was basically calling him a joke. And so it kind of clicks with him, and he's like, okay. So he tells Juru, you guys go on and fight without me. I have something else to do.
Which this all doesn't make sense because in this instance, in this loop, he rematches the guy with his main character and he fucking perfects him. He bodies the guy. And so the guy's even more like, oh, wow. Even, you know, like at your best, like when you're serious, you're unstoppable. And then Juru has this drawing of Shigeru because he notices that Tommy is, I'm even messing them up now. This sucks. That Tommy, you know, isn't being his serious. And when he is as serious, he's really cool and unstoppable. And so then Tame just keeps repeating and looping and constantly showing up to stop the monster as soon as he shows up. But the problem here is if he keeps looping and looping, we never see that rematch that he has with the guy. So potentially that guy is still bitter and mad at Tame.
There's one timeline where everything is golden though.
Yeah, and then he keeps looping until he like literally like just the guy's will to stop him.
He takes himself out. He pulls his little button, his little restart button off, and he's like, yeah, this is what you want, right? I'm out. Please just leave me alone.
And he gets cut down by Garza. But yeah, it's a very funny kind of episode. And then, you know, everything kind of at the end, he goes back to Carrot and they're like, hey, everything's kind of playing out the same way, which not really. Like, I knew what they were going to do. It's like, whose birthday is it today? And he's just like, what?
Oh my God, we're still
Mox.
in the loop.
Oh, I didn't know your birthdays were so close together. Yeah.
Yeah, it was cute.
Like, okay.
He was even doing like his like, while he was freaking
his little
out,
end dance.
Little end dance. We both noticed that. So if you're watching that episode or if you have watched it, go back and check it out at the end. He's like, when Tame's getting upset and freaking out, thinking it's the same day. And then he's like, it's not. Oh my God, you guys scared me. He's even doing like his little end dance thing. That was a cute touch, I thought.
Yeah. But like overall, like those moments need to happen in the one where he breaks the loop. Because if we don't see him actually go back and like honestly, yeah, like it's really good to see him like rematch and perfect that guy. But it should have been after the whole thing. He should have understood what he needed to do, got it done in the 100 so loops.
Right.
And then bring that guy back to rematch him.
Oh, I completely agree. I definitely think that you're right about that.
Because doing it in the order that they did it, he rematched him and then that got erased. That never happened. And so the guy's just mad and wants like a cum jar of his hair or something. Oh
my God. No, you didn't.
Hey, everyone else is making those jokes.
Well, we aren't that kind of show.
Okay, I take it back then. He just wants a jar of his hair.
Rewind it.
Yeah, hit the button.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God, we've been hitting the button this whole episode.
I know. I realized that as soon as we got to this episode, I was like, oh, don't say anything. Don't say anything. Keep it going.
Yeah. But basically the episode ends with Mabushina having a sort of breakdown because she can sense something happening. She can sense someone coming. And that's when we get our first glance at our new Kiramager, who will be appearing, I believe, in the next episode.
I'm so excited. I've been wanting, because obviously, you know, being part of Toku Twitter, I see things on my timeline. So,
and you want to see this guy.
This next Ranger is not a surprise to me. His personality and all of that is. I don't know his storyline, so don't spoil. But I've seen pictures of him. I know that there's a 6th Ranger. This is not a shock. And I have been really, really, really looking forward to meeting this guy. Yeah. So I'm really, really excited.
Well, if you guys are Patreon supporters, this episode and all of our future episodes will go up about a week early for all listeners. So you'll be able to have like our little custom RSS feed. And the nice thing is we sit down and we watch select episodes with Patreon. So basically you will be able to have access to a link where you can watch the episode with us with our live commentary. And sometimes, you know, from time to time, we'll sit down and we'll watch an episode or something with people on Patreon that are free on the Discord server and stuff like that. So there's a lot of good benefits to having that.
It's really fun.
Yeah.
I know I say it pretty much every time, but I love interacting with people and other fans. A lot of the times those people then become my friends. Mm-hmm. And I really love interacting and being able to talk with other people about this. So this is a really wonderful way, I think, for us to be able to interact almost in real time, especially when we're watching the episodes with Patreon people, to be able to talk and have those discussions just real time as we're watching it.
Right. And I think just kind of moving all of our episodes now down to 4 episodes, this is about the same length of an episode.
Right.
And I just feel like it went a lot better. There's a lot more breathability to the room, or to like, you know, like the room of the content, or like what we're saying, like there's more room. That's
right, because like
stumbling here.
We're almost
at the end.
Yeah, we're almost at the end, and we covered 4 episodes. Like to squeeze like 4 more in. That's insane. Like, I know
it doesn't give it enough time.
Right. I mean, I know we took our time this time around talking more, but still, what
do you guys think? Do you like the format changing to this?
Yeah, it's up to you guys, really.
We have a lot of people that do, like write to us and do, kind of keep us in the loop that they're watching with us. Like they will try to, watch the set of episodes that we do, and then they'll watch our episodes and listen to it. So is this easier or better? Because we are trying to get it to do sort of a schedule where we're every other week we have a new episode. And I feel like squeezing 8 episodes in, some people can do it, some people can't. We don't want to alienate people. We don't want people to get behind, because then they're going to stop listening. They're going to not want to be, part of it. So I feel like just doing this, you'll get more episodes, you'll get more content out of it, and it'll be more manageable for you also to watch with us or keep up.
And then we could also have some extra, this is just, me,
Yeah, spitball.
Spitballing ideas here. But now with, some of this extra time, I think it would be cool if like people left us comments, like to start discussions, like, hey, what did you think about this or what, and then we could address that on the next episode or just whatever, it would give us some time at the end to kind of do like a Q&A or a discussion from like people who are listening, their questions, and to feature them and their thoughts. That would be cool.
Well, how about we do this? If you guys are listening and you have Twitter, go to our Twitter, Tokusatsu GF, and find the post where this episode is linked, episode 2 here. And in the comments, leave us a comment of who your favorite character in this series is and why. And if we choose yours, we'll send you one of those Tokusatsu Girlfriend keychains.
Yeah, yes. Oh, that would be so much fun.
So you won't know until you hear episode 3 when we read some of those. But then we'll get in contact with you and we'll send those keychains your way. So it'll be kind of a fun little surprise.
I would love that.
Yeah. Anyway, that's all that we have for this episode. I feel like this is a really good episode. Like this went well.
I think so too. Watch us listen and blah, 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 blah. See, I can't talk. What is
Hit
wrong
the button.
With me? Rewind. Yeah, and then when we rewatch it back and listen to it, it'll probably just be horrible or something.
Then we hit the button.
And then when we watch this episode back,
we need to go
really
further.
Good.
Thank you guys for listening.
Thank you so much.
We'll catch you on the next episode where we'll be covering episodes 12, 13, 14, and 15.
Wow. That's all I've got.
What was that?
I don't know.
Bye.
Bye.